Vincent Clark there from Maersk speaking to the BBC. Well, let's talk more now about the consequences of the last actions of the last 12 to 15 hours, those UK and US airstrikes against Houthi militants. Peter Sand is the chief analyst at Zenata, which monitors the shipping industry. Peter, we've a lot to think about, to talk about. Of course, there's all sorts of geopolitical consequences to these airstrikes, not least in a region which we're heavily reliant on for oil supplies. But when it comes to neutralising the threat of attacks on these ships that have been coming from these Houthi rebels, do you think these airstrikes could work?
I think it highlights more than anything that this is a war risk area, one that commercial shipping activities should not be performed within, right? So will these strikes do any good to restore safe passage in the area? Well, I think it's the beginning of the end game, but I wouldn't expect to see carriers, container shipping activities to return to the area until at least early next month, depending on, of course, what happens next, because this is very much a developing situation. I know they are planning to stick to their, say, services rerouted right now. So fingers crossed, we will at some point in time get a resolution that is stable in the area. But I think we still have to wait a month more than days and weeks.
But if it doesn't work, it could potentially open up a whole sea, as it were, of new problems in the region and potentially prevent ships from passing through that region for the foreseeable.
I think it's fair to assess that the global shipping industry, and right now very much so the container shipping industry, is seeing the ugly face of geopolitics more often than ever before. We used to see that in Strait of Hormuz impacting mostly the export of oil. What we see right now is even more severe, but narrowing in on container shipping. We have the Taiwan Strait also as a tense area for shipping to watch out for. So without doubt, this is not only the carriers that needs to act. This is certainly also the global shippers like the IKEAs and Walmarts of the world that now needs also to assess perhaps their geopolitical risk of their global supply chains in a different perspective.
Okay.
Acting shortly, of course, with short term, what do they do? Bring more goods on stream. Long term, will they change their supply chains permanently?
Okay, Peter Sand from Zenata, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. No doubt we'll be back in touch for more analysis in the days and weeks ahead. Well, as we've been hearing, the Red Sea crisis has already